In this video, I'm going to teach you Microsoft Word for beginners. We're going to take this plain document and turn it into a real report with a title page, table of contents, headers, page numbers, images, tables, comments, citations, and even AI help with Copilot. You can download the same file in the description and follow along. Hi, I'm Jamie and welcome to Teachers Tech. In this beginner's tutorial for Microsoft Word, I'm going to be showing you how to use the desktop app that I'm showing you from my Windows 11 computer. If you don't have that installed on your computer, you can do the same things from the online app. And let me quickly show you where you can access that as well. If you go simply to just office.com, and I'll put the link down below, you can log into your Microsoft 365 Copilot account. And this is where you can access all your Microsoft apps. So if you have that account, just go ahead and get logged in. And once you're logged in, you're going to see this right here. You're going to see where you can chat, just kind of like ChatGPT, and ask questions, upload files, and get it to do a lot of work for you. But if you go to apps here, you're going to see all the Microsoft apps that you have access to. And here's Microsoft Word right here. This is where you can go ahead and start a brand new blank document from right here. And you're going to see right away, this looks very similar to what we're using on the desktop app. Where you look across the ribbon, you're going to see all the same features. So just a choice for you where you can work today. If you want to learn more about M365 Copilot, like how you can chat with your documents and ask questions or create your own agent, I'll put a separate video that I walk through all of this down below in the description. Let's go ahead and get Microsoft Word open now. So I'm just going to go down to the start here, and I can see Word is right here. You can do a quick search if it's not showing up right there. So there's my Word app. I'm going to open it up, and you're going to see right away here that I could open the document. It's in my recent ones, the one we're going to work on today. So you can also open it over here. So if I go ahead, click open, I'm going to browse because I know it's on my desktop. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and I have this folder called Word here. And it's going to be this demo one, and I'm just going to click on it and open it up. This is the one we're going to go through and learn all these basic skills of Microsoft Word, and we can format it to make it look a lot better. If you're new to Microsoft Word, you're going to see all these tabs across the top here. Now, notice as I click on each tab down below, this all changes. This is the ribbon across here. And inside the ribbon, you have different groups. So right here, this is the font group. This is the paragraph group in styles. So it's broken down from the tabs to the ribbon. And whenever you see this little symbol in one of the groups, if you click on it and open it, it will show you even more features that you can apply within that group. So for example, let's go over to View, and you can see how large my font is showing up right now. If I go to View, I can quickly change how I'm seeing everything, so you can get things the way you want. So if I want to go to one page, it will show it one page. I can see multiple pages here. And if I click to page width, it just jumps back across here. So you can also do some custom ones by zooming in here, by changing the percentage. A quick way to do all of this is at the bottom right-hand corner down here, there's this, and I can drag this back and forth to zoom up quickly to what I want. Let's go ahead and quickly add a simple title to this document. And this will work for about 90% of the people with what they need with titles. But as we progress through this tutorial, you're going to see different ways you can do this too. So I'm going to click on this and highlight this. So notice as soon as I highlight the Adventures of the Pooch Haven Spa, I get this. This is a quick access to start changing formatting to my font or applying different styles. I can also move up here, and you're going to see it's the same things. So if I wanted a larger font, I'm going to drop down and I can hover over, and you can see how the font's going to change. So let's go ahead and pick 28. Now, the next thing is for a title, I might want this bold. So if I click on the B here, this will bold it. Now, the other thing, I think I want a different font. So if I drop down right here, you can see all the different fonts that you have available. As I hover them over different ones, I get the preview on the document. I'm just going to go ahead and select this one here. So the next step I would say is I want to center this, and I still have this highlighted. If I look in the paragraph group over here, I'm just going to click center. So this is looking a lot better as a title. I can still do some other things if you wanted to go ahead and apply a color to this. So as I hover over it, you can see the differences, what it looks like. I'm just going to keep this black for the moment. I still want to add a subtitle to here. So I'm going to click right after spa and I'm going to hit enter. Now I want to point out when I hit enter, if I had my cursor there when I hit enter, it's going to pick up the formatting of what I already did. So notice as I type, it's going to look the same, but I can adjust this after. I'm going to go ahead and type a training sample for Microsoft Word beginners. So as a subheading, I'd want this smaller. I could highlight this again, and this time I'm just going to drop down here and choose the 14. Now, I do want to point out another quick way you can change your font style. So if I go back to this again, notice up here, you have some style fonts that you can apply. So you can hover over and get a look at how quickly you can change the font and add different effects to any of these. So just go ahead, you can play around and get a look that you would like for it. Let's say I wanted to insert a new page right after this paragraph. Now, a lot of times I see people hit enter, 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 enter. Well, don't do that. You could do that 25 times, but that's not the way you should do it. You should insert a page break instead. So if I go up to insert, and when you look into the ribbon under the pages group, here is page break. I'm just going to quickly click on it once, and you're going to see now I have this page break where it moved everything down. Page breaks keep things clean, and they're how reports are supposed to flow. Now, I'm not going to be changing much on the layout in this document, but I just want to make a reference to it. If I'm under the Home tab, if I go over and look at layout, this is where you can set your margins or orientation or paper size. So if I drop down, you can see there's the preset margins here, or if I click custom margins, you can select your own. We can pick our orientation, so whether it be portrait or landscape when it turns it over on its side. I'm going to be keeping this in portrait. You can choose your paper size here too. So depending if this is something you want to print on, and you can choose columns here as well. So if you wanted something with 2 columns, it'll just go ahead and place everything in 2 columns. As you type, it will go down the one side, the left side, then move over to the right. But I'll be just staying in 1 column. I just wanted to make sure that you knew where this information was. Now we're going to apply headings to this document. And this is something that is so overlooked, but such an important feature. I hardly see anybody ever use this, but this is what you need to apply to make sure that when you're starting a table of contents, or if you want navigation within a report, or even if you want this consistent formatting, and it's super easy to apply. Let's scroll down the page. We're going to go to page 3 because I believe this is where we're going to start. So a day at the Pooch Haven Spa. This is where we're going to apply our first heading. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and notice up top we have styles. I'm under the Home tab in the ribbon here under styles. I'm going to drop down. We have heading 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pick this as heading 1. And I'm going to apply 4 or 5 more headings here. So the next one I'm going to go to is going to be the fun facts and references. So I'm going to keep scrolling down, and here I'll highlight this and choose that one. And I'm going to move down to behind the scenes. So you can see this is very quick to add these headings here. I'll add customer reviews and testimonies, and we're going to do one more final thoughts, and this is going to be heading 1. But I also want to add some heading 2s. So I'm going to move back up here, and I'm going to be looking for this one right here, spa time snapshot. So I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to drop down and choose heading 2. And now I want to find Bella's spa package. So we'll go here, and we're going to choose heading 2, and we're going to go to the bibliography right here, adding heading 2. So I want to point out, you can view these in navigation. Automatically, it's not turned on. If I go over to the View tab here, and now I click the navigation pane, look what I have over here. So as I click on different parts, it will jump to where I put those styles. And notice that where we have the heading 1 versus the heading 2, how it's indented underneath. So if you have a large report, this starts to give you an easy way to manage to go through to find exactly what you're looking for without scrolling. Notice Word is giving me a little bit of hints here over here on the side. I'm just going to click on this. It's saying this is hard to read text contrast, and it would be for printing. You probably want a little bit more contrast. I can fix it in a hurry, and it applies to all similar issues, and I can click it, and now I have this color. You can customize these as well. So if I go ahead and just select this, and let's say I can make some adjustments, I'll go up and we'll make this to red. Nice and bright red. We'll make this a little larger. And now you can create your own style. If I go back up to here, I can go ahead here and create a style. It will give a name. I can give it a name, whatever I would like here. I'm just going to leave this as style 2. So if I hit OK, notice that this is one of the styles. So if I go ahead and click, highlight this in here and apply style 2, it quickly adds that. So I can create my own styles to apply, and you can make your own adjustments to this. I'm going to go Control Z. That is the same as the undo button right here. So if you press Control Z on your keyboard, you can undo your last steps. Now that I've added these styles, a table of contents is a breeze. So if I go back up and I'm going to go to page 2 right here, I want to add a table of contents to the top of this. I'm going to start typing table of contents. Notice that Word kind of knows what I'm going to type. If I just click on my tab key, it will finish off. It will jump to the end and type what it was suggesting there. I'm going to hit enter. Now, if I go up to the reference tab up here, notice we have table of contents. So if I click on table of contents, we have these automatic tables. I'm just going to use this first one. Watch this. I click on it, and here's my table of contents with all of the style headings that I have in here. So this was a heading 1, heading 2, heading 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. And look across from it, the page numbers. And the great thing is, as we can continue to change this document and maybe page numbers will change, I can refresh this at the end and it's automatically going to update with all of those changes. So this can save a lot of time. I still see people trying to tab and create their own table of contents, and if you just use styles, you can have it done in a few minutes. Let's move to formatting body paragraphs, like spacing and justification and spacing after. I'm going to go to this right here, and we'll just look at these two paragraphs. I'm going to go ahead and just select everything here. So I have this highlighted. I'm going to be making sure I'm under the Home tab. And if we look right here in the paragraph, if I drop down, notice how I can choose different spacing. So if I wanted it to be 1.5, I can quickly adjust the spacing needed. If I drop down here, I just want to point out this right here, the line spacing options. If you open it up, you can see how you can have a few more features of adjustments here. If we move over to the layout over here, we can have spacing after too. So if I drop this down, just watch what happens as I drop this down to 6 or move it up. You can see the spacing after each of these changes. So I can be setting up this layout over here. Now, if I go back to Home, I'm going to click Justify here, or you could use the shortcut Control J. This makes it so the edges line up with the left and the right now. Now it reads like a proper report through this section. Comfortable line spacing, consistent spacing between paragraphs, and nice clean edges. Bullets and number lists make information easier to scan. And one way to think about it is bullets are for items, numbers are for steps. I'm going to show you both with an example right here. So here we have, here's what Bella's Spa itinerary looks like. I want to make sure this is a list here. So if I go ahead and just highlight this information here, notice if I go back to the top in the paragraph, I can quickly click on bullets. So when I click on it, it turns it into bullet format, and notice how it put it closer together, and it makes it much easier to read. Now, at the same time, if I did have something where I needed a numbered list, I can click on this and it will adjust. Now, with any of these, if I go and just click after any of these and I hit enter, it will continue the list. So if I just write example and I hit again, notice how each time it automatically adds the number here. If I just hit backspace as I go back up, you can see how I can remove each of them as well. Now, if I go to this one here and I'm going to hit enter, this time if I hit tab, notice it moves it in. So you can kind of have a top level one and then you can have a second level to put underneath. So if you just use tab, that's how it would go underneath. And you can do this the same for bullets or for numbers. So if I change it back to bullets, you can see how the definition is between the top level and the second level. If you look up at the top right here, this will do the same thing as tab. So I can actually go backwards on this. So if I bring this and I click to the left, it will decrease the indent and put it in the top level, or you can keep increasing it over. Tab is just to kind of gives a shortcut for that. Let's insert and format an image inside this document. We're going to move down to here where it says spa time snapshot, and you're going to see for this demo, you can insert an image here. So I'm just going to click after this sentence, and this is where I'm going to insert this. So I've said insert a few times. If we go up to the insert tab, you're going to see pictures here. And I'm going to show you a few different ways you can do this. You can pull from this device. So if I go and click on it, I have this on my computer and I could go ahead and select this and hit insert. So I'm just going to go and click delete on my keyboard and push it away. I can go insert picture. I could go from stock images. So this will give you the stock images. I could search up dogs here and choose one of these to place it in. Another way you could do this is using Copilot to create the image for you. So let's go to generate an image. And this is going to come up here. Copilot is opening up. Generate an image of a, we're going to say of a dog taking a bath. So we'll just say of a dog taking a bath here, and I'm going to go and send this. So it's going to create the image for me that I can insert into here. All right, let's see what Copilot made for us here. We have this cute dog with bubbles on his head in a bath. And remember, I didn't give it very much information of the details I wanted. I could have gave it more to get it more specific. And you can see how it will further on make it a cartoon style, add bubbles and a rubber duck, and so on. But what I want to do is right here, I can go ahead, click insert. I can also copy the image, but I'm just going to click insert, and I'm going to close out of Copilot just to have a bit more room. And here we have it. So once it gets put in, what we can do is resize it. So I'm going to go and I can bring the, notice how when I bring the corner in, it's resizing it. And I can make it smaller and smaller and smaller here. And right now, if I try to drag it, it's not dragging around very smoothly. I can still drag it to move it, but you can change the different layout of how it formats within here. So what I want to do is click this right here, and notice that I have some options. So I can go square if I click on it. So now that I've clicked that, I can move this around, and you're going to notice that the text is going to move around with it. So I can position it to where I want to get it to look the best. If I go to tight as another example, you can see the text got a little bit tighter. Maybe I want to make this a little bit smaller and place it to where I need it. So it makes it really easy to get the pictures where you want. Now I want to point out, when you have the picture selected, notice up top you get picture format. So this is another tab that opens up when you're selected on the picture. So if I click off of it, it goes away, click on it, it comes back. So if I click on it, now I can even apply more things to the image. So even if I wanted to remove the background, if I wanted to have corrections in it, you can see if I wanted to just click on it, and make any of these adjustments. Control Z, I can go backwards. I can change the color here. I can choose artistic effect. So if I click this one, and again, making all these fun changes to it right within Microsoft Word. I can even quickly change the picture style. So do I want it to have a metal oval or the oval this way? These options are endless to how you can adjust it. Tables are perfect for price lists, schedules, product comparisons, anything structured. And again, Microsoft Word makes it easy to insert them. We're going to place a table right here, Bela Spa package options, and I'm just going to go underneath this paragraph. I'm going to go to Insert, and under Insert, we have Table. If we drop down, we can say how many rows and columns we want it by. So if I want it by 3 columns, and then I highlight down to 4 rows here, I can click on it, and then this table is inserted. Now we can go ahead and start adding some information in here. So let's say if I wanted to type package here. So if I type package, just like normal, I can type it in. I can go to duration, and if I hit tab, it goes automatically to this cell to the right. So if I could type price, and if I hit tab again, it goes underneath, and I can start typing more things, or else I can click in each cell. I'm just going to go ahead, finish filling this out, and then I'll let you fill it out after you see what I put in it. All right, now I've filled everything out. If you just want to pause the video, you can type this information into your table. Now I can go and start formatting the font in the table. I could highlight multiple cells. I could go to bold. I could change color of the fonts, all the things that I showed you before. I could go to an individual cell, and if I right click in it, you're going to notice I get this bucket here, and I can change the color. So if I turn this to green, I could turn the font to white, and I can make all these adjustments. I'm going to go Control Z just to put it back. Now, as soon as I'm clicked inside the table, I get table design and table layout up top. If I click table design, you'll notice that there's some quick styles that I can add here. So if I drop down, you'll see all these different ones. And if I just click as an example, we'll click this blue one, that is applied to that table. And I can click on any of these to just see if any of these are ones that I would like. And that one click option just speeds things up. Notice over here, if I wanted borders, if I go around, I'll highlight this right here. I could go and pick borders around the outside. And so now just this right here has the borders to it. I'm going to go Control Z on this. The other thing I can do, if I go to table layout, I can insert more rows, I can delete rows, I can insert columns. So if I'm here and if I want to insert a column left, I select it, now I have a new column. Another way, if I'm at the last cell and if I hit tab, you're going to see that it will just keep creating more rows each time I tab through. So there's different ways that you can start formatting this table to get exactly what you want. So now we're going to do headers, footer. Okay. Now I want to show you how you can use headers, footers, and page numbers. We're going to go up to the insert here, and we have header. So I'm going to just go ahead and choose blank. You can see there's different ones here. I'm going to choose the blank one. As soon as I click this, we have our header. And I'm just going to type this in, Pooch Haven Spa Report. When I place this in the header, this will show up on every single page now. Now, what I want to do is go to the footer now. So if I go down below here, you can see I can just double click in the footer because it's already open. And if I'm under the insert, we have page numbers. So I can go and pick where I want. Since I'm in the footer, it's going to be at the bottom of the page. I'm going to pick plain number, and I'm just going to pick center. So now, if I click out of this, you'll see here's the page number I was on 4. I have Pooch Haven Spa already on the next one in the header. If I go down, you can see page 5. So that's how quickly you can use headers, footers, and page numbers. Microsoft Word has a built-in proofreader for you. If you go up to your tabs and go to Review, And you can see all the different things you can do with Microsoft Word, from read aloud to translator. I'm not going to go through all of these in this tutorial, but if I go over here to proofing, and I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I have spelling and grammar, this will open up the editor on the side here. So it will go through. I'm just going to click at the very beginning here, and it gives me an editor score. And you can see if I drop down for different types of writing, what the scores would be. Now the spelling is all correct. If I go ahead and just type some gibberish here, it should find it right away. So if I click on it, you'll notice that there's no reference to it because it's just a bunch of gibberish, but that's built right into it. So if I'm just going to close out of there, but I can look for different parts of it, from clarity, formality, inclusiveness. So if I click on clarity here, it's going to show me at different parts. So saying who did or what did the action would be clearer. So it gives me the example of this. Notice I can even have it read to me. So I can go through, ignore one, stop checking for this, but do take advantage of checking out this built-in proofreader for you with anything you're putting together in Microsoft Word. Even with a desktop app, you can share your documents to work with other people. So if I go up top to share, I'm going to click share. Now, the one thing to know is that you need to be sharing your document. It needs to live in OneDrive because it just can't be on your computer. So I'm going to just click on OneDrive, and this will upload it and make a copy and save it up there. Once it's uploaded, then I'm able to share with other people. So in this case, I'm going to share with me, another account, and I can choose, what do I want this person to do? Do I want them to make edits, review, can view, can't download? I get all these options. I'm going to keep myself as an editor. I'm going to go ahead and send it. Notice how I could copy the link from here and send it to other people, but then I would have to modify the settings of how I'd want it to be shared as well. But I'm just going to keep it as here. Notice I can even set a password for it. So if I click on share one more time, I'm going to click share. I'm going to make sure that I'm added to this here, and I'm going to click send. So this, I'll get a notification from my other email, and I'll be able to work on this as well. Comments are a perfect way for group work, editing, and feedback. You don't have to change the text right away. You can mark it, talk about it, and come back later. So here's an example. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this right here, this sentence. I'm going to go up to the review, and this is where we're going to get comments. I'm just going to click on comments. Now, I can go ahead and just write a comment, but if I know if I'm aiming this comment towards somebody, I'm going to use the @. And since I've shared this with myself to another account, I can assign a comment to somebody. So notice I can click this and I can go and write my comment. So can we get a photo of the grooming room here? And I can go ahead and send this. So this gets added onto it, and you'll see if I log into my other account that we can reply to this. Now I've opened up Microsoft Word with my other account, and I can see that Ashton assigned a task to me. So if I click on this, it jumps down to what's highlighted here, that sentence, and then I can see the comment right over here. So now I can go ahead and I'll just say yes, and I'll hit reply. So if I jump back now to Word over here, I can see the update of the reply. So I know even if we're not in the same place, we can add comments and work on this together. Let me show you how you can use Microsoft Word for citations and bibliographies. I'm going to go and delete this bibliography that I had in it. It was just kind of a placeholder that I was using. So I'm going to go and insert a citation to begin with, and it's going to be based on this sentence right through here. So I'm going to highlight this, and under references, under the tab references, I have insert citation. So if I choose this, I'm going to add a news source, and I'm just going to be using a website. So you can see you have many different types of sources that you can choose from. So whatever it matches the best. For me, this is going to be a website. And now I just need to go start filling out this information. So we'll start with author, and this is just going to be the American Pet Products Association. And I'm just going to go to skip a line here, and I'm going to put a PPA. and the year, I believe 2024 will say, and you can see the information. I'm not going to put a month or day, but I will put the website in here. So I'm going to copy paste the URL over, and I'm just going to click OK. So now that becomes, as I hover over, you can see this is going to be citation. But now what I can do is once that information's in, I can go ahead and go to bibliography. I can choose the style of the bibliography here. I'm going to go ahead and just click on this first one. And it takes that information, because I'd already entered it once before in a few different ways, but it went and put the bibliography in from those citations right in. So it just puts it all together for you in a very quick way. Now I want to show you how you can take advantage of Copilot in Microsoft Word. And in this case, I'm going to be using Copilot, and in this account, I don't have a paid for version of an add-on to Copilot. This is the one that just comes with all Microsoft 365 Copilot accounts. I'm going to just click on Copilot. It's going to open it up, and you can see the picture from before. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this right through here. And I'm going to ask it to do something for me. I'm going to ask it to rewrite the paragraph to sound a little bit more professional. So make sure that's highlighted, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this question in, rewrite the paragraph to sound more professional, and I'm going to send that away. So in a few seconds, I get this back. Here's more professional rewrite of the selected paragraph. You can see the write up. I'm not going to read it all to you, but if you like what it says, what you can do, if you keep moving down, you will see that I can click here to add to doc. So maybe I want to delete this first here, and I find the spot where I want to be using it, and then I can go ahead and add to doc. So just like that, I've taken that information. I would still have to go through and format it to the way that I would want before. If you go back to what I showed you with the line spacing, or do you want it to be justified across? Another way that you can use Copilot is to summarize sections into maybe bullet points. So if I was going to go, we'll move down a little bit here, and I'll just talk about this paragraph right here. So if I go ahead and highlight this, and I'm going to go say, summarize this section into 3 bullet points. And if I send this off, now it's created 3 bullet points for me that I can insert just like before. But notice I can also ask it to create a table of the services. So before I showed you how to create the table, but now you could go ahead and use Copilot to create the table for you. So if I move down, I see the table here that they created for me, and I can go ahead, pick where I'd want it, and insert it in, and then I could go through and format it like I showed you before. One last thing I just want to point out you could use Copilot for would be like something like generating social media content. So if I go down to the testimonials, so maybe I highlight this part of the testimonials here, and I'm just going to say, give me 3 catchy social media captions based on this testimonial section. I'm going to send that off. And again, in a few seconds, I have this based on the reviews and testimonials. Royal treatment for your furry friends. See why pets can't wait to visit Pooch Haven Spa. This saves you so much time. So take advantage of Copilot and all of the other things that I showed you today in today's tutorial to get your reports looking professional. Now, I want to head back to the table of contents one more time, because I want to point out, as you're making all these different changes, it's important to make sure you update the table. So it's just a simple click. Go ahead and update it. And what it's going to do is it will go through if any page numbers change on any of the pages or if any of the headings, then it will go ahead and update everything for you with just that simple click. Before I leave you here today, I just want to mention something about saving and exporting. Now, we did save this to OneDrive. But remember, when we go back to the File tab, this is where we can save. If you want another copy, we can go Save As. You can go ahead and choose where you would like to save it. But the other thing I would like to point out is you can save it as a PDF as well. Notice that if I drop down, you can see all the different ways that you can save this Word documents. And if I chose PDF, this is going to save it as a PDF. Notice it's a quick way to do it over here as well. And if I go ahead and you can see the extension is going to be PDF, I hit save, And when I open up this again, you will see that this right now is a PDF. So just different ways to save your work. I hope this beginner's tutorial on Microsoft Word has given you a strong understanding to feel confident when using Microsoft Word to create a report, to just put everything together, taking advantage of Copilot to do some heavy lifting for you. Let me know what else you'd like to learn in Microsoft Word. I have lots of other tutorials out there. Thanks for watching this time on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next week with more tech tips and tutorials.